Alright, check this. Greetings. One thing I really love about Texas is the sunshine, the sunrise. Such beautiful sunrise every morning, right? Okay, today we're going to go in the garden to feed the plants, all right? There's already some stuff in there that we can get out. In the course of the week, I have to confess, I've been feeding a little bit from the garden. I've had quite some amount of eggplant, okra already, some peppers and stuff. But I was told that I didn't give the habaneros enough time to gather heat. So they're not as hot as they should be. So I'm going to leave the rest of the habaneros on the plants until they, start to ripen and all of that, so they can gather heat, as it were. But for today, what we're doing is that we will be feeding the plants. And we are feeding the plants with worm castings. Worm castings. Now, you know that, first of all, where I am with my flower pots, I still have worms in there, right? So there's quite some amount of worming activity going on in there, but worm castings help plants enormously. So what we're going to do today is to apply worm castings, right? We'll show series of feeding the plants with different things, including, the organic fertilizers that we give them, including the banana and plantain water. We'll do a show on that and all of that. But for today, it's worm castings. We're feeding the plant with worm castings. Join me. Let's go in the garden, in the humble garden, and let's go feed the plants. Follow me. All right, now before we start feeding, let's take a look at the plants at this time. You will notice some improvement from last week. Okay, now you notice that they're naturally occurring. That's what I call this guy here, because it germinated by itself, right? The cherry tomatoes, and you see it started bearing already. See? And hopefully it spreads like last year's did. Last year it spread all the way over there. All the way, right? Hopefully we get that again this year. Now these potatoes, we should be harvesting them pretty soon. See, the leaves have started withering already. That's a sign that they're ready. Hopefully, because last year the same thing happened, I keep saying, and I got no potatoes. But hey, let me not jinx it. I didn't even say that, okay? Potato, you didn't hear me say that, all right? We're getting potato this year, yes. So you see, the leaves are withering. That one is still going, even has flowers and stuff on it, which actually is also a sign that it's maturing. We will be to the flat. They don't even move, sir. What kind of zombie flies be these? Anyways, we will come check it out. We'll take off the flowers and everything to watch it mature. And then this guy is the one that seems really ready. Look, the only piece that is still up is this guy here. And this used to be a bloom. You remember the first episode? This used to be all leaves. Now you see there's only that and this left. And then hopefully we will get a good harvest of potatoes from here too, right? Now, remember the cauliflower that we sowed in this thing? It didn't survive. I think there was too much sunlight, so we replaced it with some squash, and we're watching it grow. You know, I wanted a squash that will be by itself, also because this squash right here is constantly getting attacked, and I'm not sure if it's coming from the other plant. You know, see this, see. I'm working in vain for these squashes. It's like I'm just feeding whatever worms are in there. As soon as they pop up, they eat it up. That's very not good. I'll have to find a solution to it, but that is why I set out this squash by itself. Hopefully we can contain whatever is wrong with that one in here, because see, there's cabbage, there's broccoli, and then there's the squash, all in the same pot. So if something comes to attack the one, it just spreads to the other. But anyhow, I'm so disappointed. I was so looking forward to this piece of squash here to grow bigger, but yeah. All right, and now you see the okra. I'm telling you, there's some okra ready to harvest already. But you know, we've been harvesting some of the purple already. We also have some green okra to harvest. See that? I'm seeing the first green okra that we can harvest. And mind you, the purple is also kicking back over there, right? So we have the purple growing, and then we also have the green growing. Look at this. Right? It's going to be an interesting season with these okra. Oh, and see my bunny. See the bunny. See, it's going in there. I'm going to do a special video on this family of rabbits, bunnies, hares, whatever you want to call them, who live in the garden. My kids have a name for them. I forgot. I'll ask them, and then I will maybe put it in the video. But they live here. They're very used to us. Sometimes they're too comfortable for my liking. Let's see. It goes right under there. That's where they live. I'm sure if you go down there, they have their bedroom and everything. They see how I just entered there. I'm going to do a special video on them. But anyhow, back here, and let's see what else we have. We have tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, and this is also something that came out of the ground by itself. You can see it, right? It sprung up by itself. We propped it up, and now see beautiful tomatoes farming, you know, and everything. Look at this bunch. Very soon I'll be getting some really good cherry tomatoes from this plant. And there are other ones like that. There are tomatoes all over, right? Let's look at the pimento peppers. Remember sweet pimento, let me call them. Remember we harvested some the other day. And look at these chilies, cayenne peppers, right? They're also getting ready. See, they're all over. They're all over. I think I'm going to harvest some of them today to make room for it to bloom, because we never did that when we did the trimming of videos. I mean the trimming video for the clearing the first fruit, right? So we'll clear this first fruit of the cayenne pepper today. Now you see the Hungarian pepper too survived. This went under some heavy pest attack, but it survived. Look, and it's showing us its first fruit. These peppers are awesome for pickling. They are very good for pickling. I love them, right? Okay, and then the habaneros that I was supposed to wait a little longer for them to gather heat. See, they're really big and nice and juicy, and you think that they're ready to eat. But honestly, I think we actually need to give them some time to gather heat and to ripen some more, possibly to even get bigger, right? And then these guys are the star of the show. We harvested a bunch of these the other time when we were clearing the first fruit. They are very hot, you know, and that's why I love them. They give you like a lot of pepper with a lot of heat, like a lot of meat with a lot of heat. Check the rhyme. A lot of meat with a lot of heat. I said that. Okay, all right, but remember, it's meat as in the flesh of the veggie, all right? Not the meat of an animal, because we don't eat that, all right? Okay. All right, now you see some more of the purple okra. More of them from the old guard to harvest. We'll harvest all of them. The thing with the okra is I've been harvesting them through the week, because if you don't harvest okra on time, they get stringy on the plant. So I have actually been doing some harvesting of the okra. The California bell. See, we have another one that we can possibly harvest today as well. Oh, it already came off safe. All right, so we got it already. Nice looking fresh California bell. I need to go get the bucket for the harvest. We'll go get it. Okay, what next? See, we have some tomatoes, but my tomato plants are suffering, and that's actually one of the reasons why I want to feed the plants with the worm casting today, right? Because if you look at the tomato plants, you see that when we started, they were very green, lush, everything. Now, if you look closely, you notice that they're beginning to burn out. Some of them are getting yellow and, you know, brown leaves and all of that. You don't want that at all. And from research, what I understand is it's two things that could be causing that. Lack of nutrients, three things actually. One is the lack of nutrients, two, overwatering, and three, too much sunshine. Two things apply here. I don't think lack of nutrients is my problem. I feed my plants well. Two things, however, could be the issue. Number one, it rains a lot these days. So sometimes when you wake up, you see that the plants are like you water the plants and then it rains on top of that. So you come and you realize that the plants have kind of like, the pots have gathered water, which needs to drain and all of that. And that is a problem, because what it's doing is it's washing the nutrients out. So maybe no lack of nutrients could also be an issue here, right? But the overwatering certainly is a problem, and I'm trying to regulate that. But also heat. The Texas sun is merciless. So sometimes if you don't have enough soil in the pot, if you don't have enough soil in the pot to contain enough water to sustain the plant for the entire day, because the sun is draining some of it out. If there's not too much soil, the sun is pulling a lot of it out, and the plant doesn't have enough to use. So then even though you're watering your plants, they're not getting enough water. That is also a problem. We're trying to work around all these to make sure that we get a great tomato harvest, all right? Because I want tomatoes. I love tomatoes. I want, like every other veggie that I'm growing. Mempranka India, you understand? Yes. So yeah, that's the thing with the tomatoes. We'll be doing that. But see, already we're actually having some of them bearing, you know, fruit. I'm very excited. And check the cherry tomatoes out. You actually have ripe right from this one right here. And I think I saw another one on the other end. You'll see that as well. But you see, they're actually not looking that bad. And then we're going to give them the worm castings. And as we go along, we'll be feeding them different other stuff that would then restore them, you know, shed off all the yellow and brown leaves and get a plume of green leaves, which will lead to plenty fruit. All right, now you see my basil there also. Yeah, the basil is keeping the tomatoes company nicely. See, there's another one here. This looks like it promises to be a huge tomato. And I'm very excited about that. You see them? And then this is the other cherry tomato that has ripe fruit. Look at that. See? We'll be getting all of that. Alright, let's see the other tomatoes. Some of them getting the brown leaves. We're going to feed them and they should shed those brown leaves and get greener leaves. Now, let's look at these peppers. These peppers, I don't know what to say. Harvesting them is actually a chore. Look at this. There's so many of them. So many. So many. And I love these peppers, right? But when it comes to harvesting them, I wish I had someone to do it for me. There's so many of them. But I have to get, and they pack a punch with heat. And a lie. I'm not telling you no lie, trust me, right? They're extremely hot. Very, 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 very hot. Let me show you one. Very, very, very hot. See, bountiful. I have to take my time and plug them in such a way that I don't hurt the younger ones that are coming up, the flowers and so on. That's why harvesting it is such a delicate affair. Let me just call it that, delicate affair. Oh, see this horn like okro? We'll be harvesting all of that. Okie dokes. And then you see the deep pepper? The man, you see the pepper? I can't wait to see the fruit. I already see flowers coming up. I can't wait to see the fruit. Alright? Yes, that's the deep pepper. It's grown really big. Look at that. Majestic. If you look at the stalk, it looks like it's going to be a huge plant. I'm excited for it. Here's another one. A younger version of that. Right? Okay. Now, the thing that is really blowing my mind is the eggplant at this point. So much eggplant. And again, as I indicated, I've been harvesting some eggplant throughout the week. But look at this. Look at all that. From just one plant. Look at this. From this other one. Look at that. And then look at this. It is incredible. The bigger ones, we harvested them, and some of them, I think we left them too long, so they dropped off the plant. But they have flowers coming up. We're going to be seeing more. My ancho peppers also have some flowers coming up. Oh, what a thing. I'm so excited. And you see the beans. The beans and the cucumber are fighting over the stakes, right? So now, there are certain points where you can't even tell what's beans and what's cucumber. But anyhow, as long as they just coexist peacefully, I'm happy. Right? And we intentionally built this little structure here to allow for them to find something to crawl on. Because what I noticed, what I believe that most people know, by the time you wake up in the morning, the cucumbers and the beans and all these other creepy plants, they're looking for something to climb onto. So they start somehow reaching out for the nearest thing to climb onto. So if you give this, you give them something to wrap around and, you know, grow nicely. Alright, now you see my naturally occurring Swiss chard also. Why is it also yellowing and browning? Maybe lack of nutrients. We'll give it some worm casting today. Alright, okay. And see, this is my dwarf pepper, all blooming all over. It's called the hot demon red. But OTD now, because it's hot, I understand it's not that hot, but it's called demon red. It sounds like something that will be extremely. Oh, look at that bee! Look at it. Let's capture the bee. Let's see if we can get the bee. Where did it go? Look at it. Look at it. And mind you, you need bees in your garden, right? They're the ones that pollinate the plants, especially your eggplant. You need the bees around to help you pollinate them. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Look at it, look at it. Did you see that? Did you catch that? The bee just pollinated these two flowers, this and that. It just flew to that and flew back to that and flew to that again. Whoa! Whoa, that's incredible. See, again. See what it's doing over there. Hold on. I need to get this. I need to get a better view of this. The bee at work. You see it? And then it flies out and goes to this one. This is amazing. And then it flies out again and goes where? To this one. Carried away. Because he's doing a good job. Matter of fact, I think we've seen enough. Let's leave it alone to do the rest. But this is incredible, don't you agree? Don't you agree? And this is why some gardeners advise that you grow flowers in your garden, right? To attract bees to come and pollinate the stuff. There's so many cucumber flowers for my little bee friend to pollinate. I'll just leave him to do his work and also hopefully pollinate any other flowers that needs to be pollinated, the tomato ones, whatever else. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to quickly harvest the plants off and then I will feed the plants with the worm castings. Stay put, I'll be right back. So we're not going to go to harvest the crops that are ready to harvest, and we'll be back to feed the plants. See ya. I'm going to start with the tomatoes because I think they need the most help. That's what it looks like, right? Worm castings. All you need to do, follow the instructions. It differs, so I don't want to be specific for you. Follow the instructions, right? Put it in there, water it, stir it all, that's it. Okay? I'm running out of space to record, so if I don't see you again, one love. If I see you again, I'll tell you more. One love. So after we put the worm castings in, they are granules, right? So you have to water it down so they go into the soil. Let's do that. See how sweaty I look? Yeah, Texas sun, don't joke. All right, so there you have it. Plants well fed, and the worm castings well in the pots. We also watered it nicely, so they get ready for the hot Texas sun, which is about to come. It's barely 9 o'clock in the morning, and see how I'm sweating already. But maybe I should water myself too a little bit, the sea. Maybe me too, I need some small. No, look, I go do my own inside. I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you very much for watching Ital Mukase Garden Series. And next week, God willing, only God willing, we will bring you another episode of Ital Mukase. Meanwhile, watch out for the kitchen series also. That should also be coming your way. On the kitchen series, I'll be showing you my stash of mushrooms. Different types of mushrooms from different areas. And I'll show you a website where you can get some seriously classic and unknown mushrooms. How can I call them? I'll show you the caviar of mushrooms. Check Ital Mukase Garden Series. No, this is Garden Series. Check the kitchen series. I'll see you next time. Ital Mukase, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and share your Ital recipes with us. Once again, thank you for watching.